All right, thank you for staying with us. It's still Sports Tonight. And of course, we are still discussing the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations. Today, we told you earlier on that Group C games have been decided as we speak. But let's quickly tell you that there's been a change around one of those games that we're talking about. Not the Morocco-Cote d'Ivoire game, still goalless after 58 minutes. But Congo DR have extended their lead, and it's Mobile Ndombe that has scored the second goal for Congo DR. So they're cruising not just to victory in this game, cruising to the top of the group.
I think that's the final nail. Whatever happens in this game.
No, you never say never. There's still a lot of time in the football game.
The Togolese have been poor.
Of course.
After the second game, I think their head went down.
They assaulted. I mean, they went to the home of goalkeeper Agasa. I beg your pardon. I mean, because they felt the goals they considered were cheap.
I'm not surprised. George Oponwe had similar experiences when they were almost qualifying for the 2002 World Cup. They came to, I think, Port Harcourt. Nigeria beat them, and everything started changing. And the
fans went and besieged the home.
But I think for me,
and it's not in the right frame of mind.
My personal opinion, I think final nail, Congo DRC would top that group, no matter what happens between Morocco and Cote d'Ivoire. But it's going to be a shame if the defending champions end their journey right here.
It's not going to be the first time, you hear me?
Yeah, but a lot of people...
2013, the same thing.
No, let me tell you, let me give you a little bit of history. 2010, Egypt won it.
Of course.
They didn't go to the next 3 editions of the Afcon.
Nigeria...
2012, Zambia won it. They didn't qualify.
They crashed out at the group stage.
The next 2 editions, they crashed out in the group stage. Next 2 editions.
My point.
Nigeria, 2013.
Qualify at all.
We won it. We've not gone for the last 2 editions. So there's a problem with African champions.
My point is, for a team that's, I mean, not doing bad in terms of talents, you would at least expect them to be able to get out of the group stage. A lot of people start pointing out to the fact that Javinho is not here, Ature is not here, maybe Didier Zokora not here.
They're finding it difficult to win games.
But if you look at the crop of players they have in their rank, you definitely say that they are good for the title once again. Look at what is going on.
At least getting out of the group stage. Maybe not the title, but at least out of the group stage.
He's one among the world-rated midfielders we have around the world now. Playing his trade with Atalanta in Italy. He's rated £40 million. If a player rated £40 million is playing for Cote d'Ivoire, you definitely see that they have
they're not lacking in a few eye-catching.
Of course. Of course, they've been wonderful. But if you look at it very well,
of Manchester United, they have a couple of big players in big clubs.
There is a particular thing working for Morocco in this particular game they are playing. The gaffer in charge of Moroccan national team is the former coach of the Ivorian national team that led them to victory in 2015. So he said before the game, he said, I know all these guys. Almost all these guys I know before this game. He said he knows how they are going to approach the game. Despite the fact that we know...
definitely it will be a plus.
It's going to be a plus.
But it doesn't
really matter.
Lucia should be able to do enough.
Yeah.
Whatever you know about the team 2 years
ago. The coach of Algeria just was in Tunisia in 2015.
Of course.
George Leekens. But they didn't change the fact that Tunisia still got the victory that they wanted. So it depends on what the players apply on the match day.
We're saying the same thing. We're just looking at it from different perspectives. It seems like that should not be crashing out in the first round.
But if you are not good, not good enough.
But it's not over yet.
It's not over yet.
So I shouldn't jump the gun.
Don't jump the gun.
But it looks like, because all Morocco needs to do
is just a draw.
Just keep it tight.
Of course.
And then they will qualify. And they're not under any pressure.
Okay. But I'm looking at this Congo to be the team that will win the tournament. If you look at the rise of Congo DR, you definitely agree with me to a particular extent. Look at the last edition. They got to the semi-final stage. They were the third best. They were the third best team in the tournament. Look at the last two previous tournaments. They've been up and going into each tournament. 2012, Zambia came and won it. Remember what they did in 2010, and even against Nigeria at the quarterfinal stage.
They lost some penalties.
Yes, 2008 they did the same thing, But when they came on board by 2012,
Ghana would say the same as well.
No,
Ghana would say the same, having lost to
the final.
But
2013.
if you look at,
I think
they lost the final in 2015.
I think even going by your analysis, going by your assertion, even the Ghanaians, going by that, but statistics don't play football anymore.
Of course.
But going by that, the Ghanaians will feel we're in the semi-final in
always in the semi-final.
2012, 2013.
What I'm looking at
Finals
in
in
this
2015.
particular Congo, they have
there's something about this Congo.
They are firm. They play this kind of understanding football. They spring passes together. They don't tend to like jittery when they see bigger opposition. They tend to like come with their age. So all of those
I
things.
get a point. And we must give credit to Florent Ibenge, who is the coach, and is also the coach of a local club side.
Yes.
That's quite a number of
players in the team, and
is
is combining the two jobs and is doing a good job of the two. All right, so we'll keep our eyes on Congo DR, but then it's still a long way to the final. But
of course,
the way they've played, you will of course notice that Congo DR are in with more than a surprise in this edition of the competition. All right, let's quickly talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll be concluding the group games. The final round of group games will be concluded tomorrow, and then tomorrow we will now have an idea of what is happening, who the quarterfinalists are, and we'll know it's business time. Ghana already through. Yes. But then they could finish in second place if they lose to Egypt. And that, remember, a few months ago was a cracker in the race to Russia 2018. The Egyptians won by 2-0 in Alexandria. That's a very intimidating place to play. But this is Gabon, neutral ground. I expect Ghana will do the business against Egypt tomorrow. And then Mali will take on the already eliminated Uganda.
The two of them, they are out of the tournament.
No, Mali still have a chance.
They have a chance, mathematical chance.
Mali's chance is more than mathematical. It's as simple as Ghana beating Egypt.
And they winning against.
That's not simple.
And
that's not simple.
Are you saying Ghana cannot beat?
It's a good chance for them.
It's not simple. If your destiny is in your hands, then it's simple. It's not because at the end of the day...
No, but it's more than a mathematical chance. It's as simple as win your game, and then
and wait for what happened between
and if the Egyptians lose.
That's not simple, Tony. That's not simple.
But let me just quickly actually bring this forward. Talking about the game between Ghana and Egypt. If you look at these two teams, they happens to be
the two of them could easily play a drum. Both of them are true.
Of course. Yes. Now they happens to be one of the best, even the best when it comes to playing football in Africa. They've won the African Cup of Nations in between the two of them more than any other countries when it comes to African Cup of Nations.
Let's take you back very quickly to that game and tell you that there's a goal now. It's been scored. A goal has been scored, and it's for Morocco. Morocco 1, Cote d'Ivoire 0. Rashid Aloui has scored for Morocco. He came in as a sub and almost immediately got a goal for Morocco. So it's Morocco 1-0 over the defending champions, the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire. It's not looking good. If it stays this way, that will be going through.
It's
Morocco going through. Congo topping the group, Morocco in second place, and the Elephants will be out. But there's still a lot of time for this game to be played. We still have over 24 minutes of football to be played, all right? And that's a long time in football. A lot can change.
And even when they won the other time, they qualified on the last day.
On the last day.
On the last day.
Yeah.
After playing 2 uninspiring draws, they qualified on the last day. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't bet against the Elephants
just yet.
African football, I wouldn't. But maybe
you have 24 minutes to turn things around.
Maybe Harvard and that just seem to have their number. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
But 24 minutes for them to turn things around, but at the moment, looks like the defending champions could be on their way home. All right, let's talk very quickly about the quarterfinal fixtures that have been confirmed as of today. We'll wait for the conclusion of games in Group C today and tomorrow, Group D, before we now have the complete lineup of the quarterfinal appearance. But we have 2 quarterfinal fixtures already confirmed, and those games are looking sumptuous, looking tough, dicey, difficult to call. Burkina Faso against Tunisia, Senegal against Cameroon. Anybody wants to put his head on the chopping block?
Well, I think Burkina Faso, they've been wonderful in this tournament. I'm not going to say they are one among the best.
They've been wonderful. They just were lucky that they got the draw against Gabon.
But if you look at how they've been playing,
and a draw against Cameroon.
Though they are not clinical enough in front of goal, but you can give it to them when it comes to compact play. I did enjoy their game, even against Cameroon when I watched the game. But if you still now consider what they've done so far, couple of good players, decent players at the middle of the park, up front, even at the defense. Talking about one among the highly respected defender in French Ligue 1, in person of Kone, playing it straight with Marseille. So if you bring all of these things into consideration, you definitely give Burkina Faso a chance against a team like Tunisia. Tunisia, they did wonderfully well. They have 5 points from a group that had Senegal, Algeria, and Zimbabwe. So if you now consider all those things, you see they also have an equal chance with the Burkina Faso. So Burkina Faso, if they can just come to the field of play with their heads high, come with their head games, definitely they are going to take this Tunisia, because the Tunisia defensively, I see them, they are always shaky at the back. They are not really composed. One among the games they've played so far that I did watch, actually they were not so compact at the back. So if Burkina Faso can take the game to them, definitely is really going to end in favor of Burkina Faso.
All right, I mean, Senegal against Cameroon, that's a tough game. You expect a lot of physical battles, and the Cameroonians have improved and increased in confidence from their first game. So they should be a lot better against the Senegal team that even afforded
I'm not going to predict
the resting of 10 key players.
And still won their game.
And still got the results.
I won't be bold enough to predict the results, but we're going to see a very tight game. Very, very tight game. Probably going to be a game of grit. We didn't see the top stars of the indomitable Lions of Cameroon, but we still saw the usual grit in Cameroon. Very difficult to beat. Could play, more than 90 minutes. Hard not to crack the Cameroonians. Maybe not very good at creating chances, but one way or the other, they find a way to stick the ball into the net. So it's going to be very hard to call against a team that most people think would probably win this tournament, the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Maybe Senegal might just nick it, but it's not going to be free-flowing. Going to be, I'll be bold enough to say that there might even be a red card in that game. It's going to be very tight, very, very tight.
But it's going to be an end-to-end affair. Why I said that is a fact.
I don't think so. We're going to see many fouls.
Anyway, let's not argue about that one today. Tomorrow we'll talk more about the quarterfinal games, and of course on Friday, tomorrow and Thursday, we'll have a complete lineup of the quarterfinals, and that will be the knockout phase of the competition. But we want you to talk to us. Of course, we want you to tell us what you feel, predict for us who you think will be going through to the semi-finals. Burkina Faso against Tunisia, Senegal against Cameroon, games that are difficult to call. But you could predict and tell us what you think will happen in those games, and then we'll get your thoughts out. If you have a crystal ball around where you are, or you have the ability to be an octopus,
octopus your name,
whatever your name is, then you can talk to us and we'll be able to get your comments out on the show. Let's quickly switch now, and before we go on a break, let me start off by talking about match day 4 of the Nigeria Professional Football League. All right, let's we'll talk about the fixtures. We'll of course highlight some of the games, top games to look forward to. But I'm told we need to quickly go on a break. Before we go on that break, let me just quickly update you once again, in case you are just joining us, with the results of the games currently going on, because there's been a change to one of the score lines of the game, one of the two games currently going on. And let me just tell you that Togo have pulled one back, so it is Togo 1, Congo DR 2. All right, so Togo have pulled one back, and that will be very encouraging. Kojo Laba with the goal for Togo in the 69th minute, but then it is still Morocco leading Côte d'Ivoire 1-0 after 72 minutes in the other game. All right, so it changes nothing. It is still Congo that will top, and Morocco qualifying in second place if the results stay the way they are. All right, let's go on that break. When we return, we'll make a change. Cosmos Chukwemeka will be joining us for the rest of the show. We'll be talking Nigeria Professional Football League match day 4, and also on the menu, Australia Open, the business end on Sports Tonight. Join us again.